All right, we are joined by assistant coach Frank Hjortebjerg. Frank, thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Can you just give us a little bit of update on, teams back today after a few days off? How has training been and what you're kind of working on right now?
Yeah. So training was good. We had 2 days off. So did 3 days off and then 3 days of training, 2 days of training and then 1 scrimmage against Cholos, and then 2 days off and then training today. And the first international guys will land as we speak, I guess, and will be back in tomorrow. And then the last group will be in on, what day is it today? What day do we have?
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
The 31st.
Thursday. And then they will be in, Thursday, the last guys will be
Nice.
here. Yeah. So, we're starting to prepare for San Jose with a smaller group. And then we'll get everyone in as the days progress. And then we're ready to go.
I can only kind of imagine the kind of the joy being able to take a break physically and mentally from 5 games in 16 days, and then international competitions as well, going to terribly difficult places like Mexico and all that stuff. So on those breaks off as well, can you turn it off as well? Because I know when you're outside of the pitch and you go, all right, I need to relax, just take my mind off of things. Is it easy for you to do, or do you need to do it? I'm just gonna go to the beach and just look at the water for a little bit. Are you gonna grab a coffee? Are you gonna go to your favorite spots? Like, what does Frank do to just take a breath?
I'm pretty good at that, I'll say. It's very. I think also when you have small kids, it helps because they'll get your mind on anything or ask very random questions or whatever they want. But I like a good walk on the beach.
There you go.
For this specific break, we went to Julian. So I got an apple pie and I saw a beautiful night sky and these things. So that was pretty good. But in general, I think I'm actually pretty good at leaving things then relaxing. Also because I think here we work very structured and we know exactly at what meetings we're speaking about what. So that also helps in terms of, at least for me, to know when to focus on something and when to wait or when to relax.
Yeah, there you go. The preparation all pays off. Perfect.
Was that your first time in Julian? Your
was.
first apple pie?
Yeah.
How would you rate it?
Will I get in trouble if I say it's a little overrated? Okay, so let me put it this way. I thought the apple pie was a little overrated, but I thought the night sky was very, very nice.
That's
very
a great
beautiful.
answer. I respect that.
My wife picked an absolutely astonishing hotel where they had like 2 llamas and 3 goats, which we could feed. So the kids fed the animals the entire time. So apologies if they are a little overweight now. We spent 24 hours there, but that was a beautiful place.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm sure that was a fun experience. Now, looking back at the last, Marv just kind of mentioned a congested window and playing in different competitions, 5 MLS games in. We talked to Calvin a little bit about this too, but what has the team kind of learned through this span that you'll use into the future that you can tell us?
Obviously, every time we play, we get more and more experience with our style of play and different challenges that we face. And clearly, we were not up for that Toluca away game that we spoke a lot about here. We were not up for that challenge yet. We were not ready to compete at the level that we had to in order to progress from that. But still, I think we are in a decent spot after having to face these kind of challenges for the first time. And I think we managed to get through the MLS games in a way where we still felt okay with what we did and where we are now, and like the kickoff that we had to the season. So some lessons learned for sure. Some things that we definitely have to improve in order to compete in both competitions, at least against the best teams. Which hats off to Toluca is, I think, the best team that I've faced with San Diego FC. And they dominated us and completely deserved to go through. And we got to learn from that and improve. But in terms of MLS, I think we're still in a position where we can say we are happy with the start to the season.
Yeah, I think just 5 games in with Champions Cup sprinkled in between that, I think you're going to take 11 points all day. I mean, 3 wins and 2 ties. you could get greedy and say, hey, we were up in some of those games and but we learned from it. We learned how to close out moments like that. Do you think, and we talked about it with Kelvin a little bit too, do you think fatigue, mental fatigue, physical fatigue played into some of those late draws that we gave up?
Potentially.
Yeah.
But we gotta do way better because especially the Dallas game, we had it completely within our own hands, and we basically just gave it away multiple times in game scenarios where we should handle it better. And even though in some of the games we had some new guys or less experienced guys playing, they would also agree that they should handle those situations better. Was it fatigue? Potentially. Was it playing some new guys? Potentially a lot of travel, maybe congested figures, maybe. But we got to learn to handle those situations and moments better. And especially the Dallas game was disappointing because we felt like we continued to give them a chance to get back in the game, continued to give them chances to get back in the game, where we have the ambitions of closing those types of matches, even though it was away, in a congested schedule.
Yeah.
So lessons to be learned there, for sure.
This match preview is presented by Alaska Airlines. Our friends at Alaska Airlines are rewarding fans all season long by giving you 100 Atmos Rewards points for every SDFC home goal. Registration resets for 2026, so be sure to sign up again at atmosrewards.com/SDFC.
We'll be flying to Hawaii in no time with the amount of goals that SDFC scores at home. I'll tell you that much.
Ain't that the truth? This year we're on fire, so let's do this.
As the official specialty insurance partner of San Diego FC, Palomar offers standalone earthquake insurance that protects property and peace of mind. It's crucial to be prepared. Visit plmr.com or contact your insurance agent for a quote. Palomar, reimagining specialty insurance with innovative, creative solutions.
This week on Celeb News, Hollywood's newest posse. It's DirecTV's Genre Packs. Curated collections of your favorite channels and streaming apps together. Check out The Bad Boy, My Sports, The Heartthrob, Mi Español, and The Hot One, My Entertainment, with Disney Plus, Hulu, and HBO Max included. Starting at just $34.99 a month. It's DirecTV like you've never seen it. New residential customers. Auto renews monthly. Cancel anytime. Apps vary by pack. Prices may vary through third parties. Credit card and restrictions apply. 18 plus. See details at directtv.com/genrepacks.
When you reflect on where this team is at this point now in the season versus where you were in season one, what's something that makes you proud of where this team has been able to get to at the first international break?
Yes, I think if you were to go back and watch the first 5 games of the season that we played last year, you would see a team that was definitely not as much in sync as we are now. And we are clearly more efficient in our style of play, both in terms of things with the ball and without the ball. So we're pretty proud and happy with that development of the group. And now it's about continuing to do that, but then also closing the games. I've also been in this chair speaking to you guys about now we know our style of play. Now we have worked with it for a year. The players know it, the group know it. But now it's also about managing the game moments that can be a little difficult, managing those moments where you got to make a very specific choice for that actual situation and that specific game state. Whereas in Dallas and the RSL game, some of those moments we let them slip. So definitely we are in a position where we feel that we are more developed as a group. We can play at a higher level on and off the ball, but we still got to improve those things that we set out to do in this season, which is being more consistent, but also managing the game states better and solving those situations, for example, in those 2 MLS games better.
After playing in our formation for a year and it got a lot of attention, is there a sense that other teams are now also familiar with how we play and now they're finding different ways to counter our productive way of playing? Like, do you find it more difficult to play our style against these teams that are now trying to counteract us?
Definitely that they've seen more and more teams play against us and they have more and more experience of what they can potentially do. Mm-hmm. So I think it's pretty clear that what most teams do is they either go completely in our face or they drop completely low, which I think is the right thing to do for you guys listening out there. And then you can do that in multiple different ways, of course. Sure. And this will always be a dynamic thing that develops, and teams do one thing and then we try to adapt, and then they do other things and we try to adapt to that. And it's one of the interesting things about developing a clear style of play, but also being open to this development happening all the time. I wouldn't say it's harder or easier. Obviously, we had the first few games of the season last year where it was a bit of a surprise for most teams, and that element is clearly out, but that was also out during the last season, I feel like. So I wouldn't say it's harder or easier, but you just got to keep your ears and eyes open for that development to happen naturally. Also, we bring in new players and in different circumstances now, congested figures, and put different pairings on the pitch in different sides or central on the pitch. So it's a natural thing that's always there. And as a coach, I think is one of the most important things for us is to be aware of what happens organically and what can we use and what do we have to say, like, this we don't want. And the opponents is just a part of that.
And you feel the same way also defensively, because now it seems like teams are also trying to play out of their back from goal kicks, similar to how we do. So defending the way that we attack, feel the same way? It's just all about adjusting and nothing special, nothing different, just got to go with the punches?
Yeah, in general, I'll say we feel the same way. And I also feel like maybe we also inspired some teams to do some structural things and some approaches in their pressing and how we defend. And that's cool. We also get inspired by other teams and seeing other teams. So I think it's a natural process of teams playing against each other and adapting and football developing and just learning to navigate that. And for me, it's one of the cool things about this game.
Mm-hmm.
Looking ahead to San Jose this weekend, they're sitting at 4 wins, 1 loss to Seattle. Most recently just won versus Vancouver. What can you tell us about this team and what kind of challenges they're going to present this weekend?
Yeah, they've had a strong start. A very cohesive group, I feel like. They attack fairly fast. They are very, very strong, potentially the best team in the league in terms of getting players in the box when they attack, for crossing situations, when they play direct with the strikers or the wingers running and attacking fast. I think they do that very well. They will for sure try to be a lot in our faces and put pressure on us. Also, last season, they tried to do some of the same things, but with a slightly different approach. And some things we solved, something we struggled, and away last year we had to really dig it out in the end of the game. So I think it'll be a high-intense game with both teams wanting to press high. They will probably want to attack a little bit faster than we do. We'll probably have the ball more than them, and I think they'll be okay with that. And then it's just a matter of which team managed to bring out the best of those two styles.
To reflect on last year a little bit, I think we've talked to a couple players, and Kelvin says the same thing too. That game was a kind of a representation of this team never giving up. What is your experience from that match when you reflect on it, looking back now?
Yeah, it was one of those where we struggled and couldn't really pick the rhythm of the game, couldn't really find the rhythm of the game. We struggled with the pitch a little bit. I don't know if you guys have any experience with the pitch, but
Marv played there.
I played
there for 2 years. Yep.
Yeah. So at least when I was there, it was very slippery very fast. So we struggled with adapting to that. So hopefully we can do that better this year. And it was just one of those games where we had to struggle and we had to find a way and we had to bring players on from the bench who really made a difference. And it took everyone to get that, including the fans. So it was not one of the most prettiest ones. It's probably not the one I will put on when I get very old, just to enjoy that actual playing. But it was one that we remember for the way it ended, of course.
Just play it from like 84 minute on or 81st minute on in the celebrations afterwards.
Exactly.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing it. But thank you, Frank, as always, for joining us for our match preview presented by Alaska Airlines. We always appreciate the time.
It's been a pleasure.
Next up, you'll hear from head coach Mikey Varas and forward Lewis Morgan as the team prepares to head to San Jose for their next matchup.
Yeah, I think you can see it's clearly a much improved team with a coach who was always going to improve them, but really hardworking, very athletic, very direct, want to pressure you high, so they'll make things difficult, and then very good at getting players in the box. So it's a team that we're going to have to be at our best in terms of everything we want to do from a principles perspective, and then quality in terms of executing at the highest level possible. And that's really what we've used this international window for, is an opportunity to get back on the training pitch after we had 5 games in 16 days, 6 games in 21 days. So it was not a lot of training, and it's been really good. The guys have responded really well, and they'll be ready to go.
You alluded to the stretch. Can you reflect on what you guys learned during that stretch and like your big takeaways after playing 6 games in March, 5 in such a short span?
Yeah, that was the first time that we've done that as a group, and I think it's a big haul. But I think it reinforced a few things in terms of making sure that you have a big squad, so that you can have enough rotation. And then number 2, just I think that the experience of the mental fatigue is going to be a really good one for us the next time we go through it, because ultimately I think from a mental perspective, so many games and being tired and then having to repeat it over and over again could have led a little bit to some sloppy moments, but it's a really good learning lesson. At the end of the day, I think the boys did a great job navigating that. I'm super calm in my reflection because we had a shortened preseason. We played 2 tournaments right off the bat. The boys navigated the beginning of that season with a round of 16 performance in CONCACAF, which is not easy going through Pumas. Also having to expend a lot of energy in that home match against Toluca, being down a man. And then on top of that, although we would say 2 of the games in this last stint in league weren't our best, still taking home points and starting the season on 11 points in 5 games is, I think there's a lot of merit to what they did.
You guys have a bunch of players and staff that have ties to San Jose. This is Amal's first return going back there. Can you speak about what he's meant for the club since you guys acquired him last August?
Yeah, I think for us, Pele first and foremost is a fantastic human being and just super aligned when it comes to being a top professional and being a great teammate. And that's the foundation of everything we do here. And then on top of that, he has talent. So we talk about character and talent. And he's just very consistent in all the actions that he does in terms of running in behind, getting good 1v1 situations, combining with his teammates, getting in good goal scoring positions, also taking his chances very well. And then on top of that, you add the ability to sacrifice and make defensive recovery runs or slide tackles or whatever he has to do to help the team win. So he's a really important piece. And at the same time, the roster is big, and we have some other young guys too who are pushing every single day to see if they can take their next steps.
Assuming you caught some of Denmark, Czechia, just your thoughts on just the performance, the disappointment at the end for him.
Yeah, I'm so proud of him because he was brave in coming off of the bench and making an impact in a very tough game. You could see the field was difficult for them, and obviously playing away and then in that environment where the other team is just going to try to shut you down. But really proud of his performance and also brave to make a difference when things are decisive. And it's only people who are brave and talented who take the risks to make a difference in life. And really, I think he represented San Diego really well.
Any more questions? Lewis Morgan has appeared in 4 matches. What have you thought about his performances so far?
Yeah, I think his performances have been building up because, he went a year without playing, basically. And so we've had to slowly build him up through training. And I think what you see is little by little his legs getting set under him. And I see just a very normal, I would call it an adaptation or onboarding process from him, from a talented player. One that you saw Pele go through as well, right, when he hadn't played for a long time. And remember those first 3 games with us, you know, it kind of looked okay, and then you just know it's going to click. And he's one of these guys that he's on the verge to really exploding and really shining through, and we're really excited to see him continue.
Chris McVay picked up a red card last match. How much do you guys miss him right there in the middle of the defense, and who will start in his place?
Yeah, it's obviously we don't want to take red cards, and it's not only on Chris, it's on the whole team in terms of us just not traveling together well enough at the end of that game and ending up in isolations. But the most important thing is that we've always had the mentality that we look at this as an opportunity. It's an opportunity for someone else to step up. Ozzy will play in the back line with Manu, and he's ready to go, and I think he's already had some pretty bright performances. And I think it's another reason why it's important that we have these rotations early in the season, because it's not his first exposure now, right? Now this is his second or third game coming in, and it's going to be a great moment for him to show who he is.
Last question. The field at PayPal is a little slicker. The plays a little fast. How do you guys prepare for that?
Yeah, it's a very hard pitch, and so because it's cut low and it's hard, it can be slippery. I haven't noticed this year as much slipping as I've noticed in past years. I don't know if they've made any adjustments to it or not. But the most important thing is just to be aware of it and know and get used to the footing as much as you can. More than that, you can't do too much.
And how's CJ progressing? And are we close to seeing him back in the goal at some point?
Yeah, so CJ actually, you know, he went to national team camp with Cape Verde, which was a great experience. He came back glowing. I can see his confidence is growing week in and week out. And I would say he's at the point now where he's starting to compete for playing time. And I think he's pretty much, he's healthy now, and he's gotten a lot of training, and we've seen his confidence jump back. But in regards to playing or not, that's going to be up to the performance of the team. And also, I think Duran's been playing really, really well. So it's important that he just stay patient, work hard, show what he's got, and then when his chance comes, to take it.
It's fair to say that he hasn't stepped down, but the performance, the competition has kind of stepped up since
100%.
last year.
Yeah, I mean, CJ was hurt, and then it opened the door a little bit for Pablo, because that's what happened. It happened a couple times last year. And then Pablo's red card opened the door for Duran, and now we are left ourselves with three very capable goalkeepers, which is a great place to be.
Yeah, I think obviously, firstly was out for a long period of time, and I think I can still feel getting back to full match sharpness. And obviously when you come off the bench, it's obviously a different challenge as well. And I think it's just about building up minutes and building up training time here, and we had so many games. And I think all that will be for the benefit in the long run. And I feel like now I'm getting my feet under myself here and looking to make a big impact in the games going forward.
Two really solid teams in the West getting to meet up here. What have you guys seen in San Jose, and how much are you looking forward to this match?
Yeah, they've started the season really, really well. I think we had a game against them here in pre-season, and you could tell there as well that they're a good side. They're coached really well. They've got good players. And I think that's what football's all about. You want to play the best teams at the best times, and we're looking forward to the challenge of going up there and try to come back with 3 points.
It was such a grind to start the season for SDFC when you talked about CONCACAF, and then obviously the quick start to MLS. How much of that do you attribute to, I don't want to say like a slowdown, but the couple of draws there and still being able to get points? Is it nice to have this break and get back from that kind of hot start?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like as footballers you want as many games as possible, right? But like you say, at the start of the season sometimes it's a little bit more difficult to navigate those. But I do think by and large we done it really, really well. Of course, we would like our previous game there to hold on and win that game at home in front of our fans. But when we look at the positives, we did progress through the first round in CONCACAF. We had a good positive result in the first leg against Toluca. We always knew it was going to be a tough game down there. And then at home we're undefeated. We're undefeated in the MLS so far. So it's about taking the positives from that and building on it. And so far we're 5 games into the season. We've not lost yet, and we're trying to make that 6 on Saturday.
Last year, everyone here was new.
Yep.
This year, you're one of a handful of new guys joining that mix. Now that you've been here a few months, what do you see from your perspective on what they've built here in a short time, and How is it different at all from in some other places maybe that you've played before in other clubs in the past?
Yeah, really impressive, to be honest. I've obviously been there as a player in an expansion team with Miami, and I know how difficult it is to build that culture, and I think they've done an amazing job here. You know, the players, the coaching staff have. It really feels like a club that's been here for 25 years or whatever. And I think the performances have shown that, the success the team had last year shown that, and for new guys coming in, and it doesn't feel like a new club, you know, and all the guys have done so well up to this point, and we're really looking to take the next steps and keep driving that culture and keep driving the winning mentality and developing players here and really, like I say, taking that next step and keep building on what the club have already built so far.
Any more questions?
Yeah, one more. I'm sorry. Did you watch any of Anders' match for Denmark and just
Yeah.
your thoughts on the disappointment? I mean, the great ending and then the disappointment of losing in PKs.
Yeah, I mean, I know how international football goes. You don't get it's tough games. Anders came onto that game and made a massive impact, you know, and he can be proud of everything he's done with the national team, and we're happy to have him back here. I'm sure he's looking forward to the game at the weekend, and it's what football is. There's disappointments about how you bounce back. I've got no doubt that Anders is really looking forward to the game at the weekend, and on an individual note, I thought he was brilliant in the game. So yeah, he's someone that we're lucky to have here, and we're looking forward to the game on Saturday and seeing him play.